Okay, here we go. Thank you guys for zooming in. We're going to talk about how to build your inventory, how to grow it, how to be prepared for reorders, when to start looking for reorders. And as you go through, as you continue to build into a larger customer base, how to know, what to stock. I think I've simplified it for myself over the years. So I'm just going to give you some tips. And then Marianne and Trinity are going to also give you guys some tips. And all right, so let's make sure we've got the mute out. Hang on for a second. Okay. All right, we've got the background noise taken care of. Okay, here we go. So first of all, inventory, when you look at inventory, we are a business where we buy and sell goods. And it really is hard selling from an empty wagon. I'm going to give you kind of the mental state that I was in when I didn't have product, and the things that, the anxiety that it caused me if I didn't have product or what my customer needed. I'm going to tell you about that as I was growing my inventory. I'll call those growing pains. Marianne and Trinity are also going to share a little bit about, how they did it as well. So inventory is not a debt. If you went out and bought a whole bunch of shoes, that's a debt. You can't make any money off your shoes unless you are, a woman of the night. I just had to say that. Think about where you give business, all the places that you give business. Like, I give a lot of business to Chick-fil-A. I give a lot of business to Dunkin' Donut. And when I pull up to get my coffee every morning at Dunkin' Donut, by the way, I stop there 2 times a day, morning and afternoon. And if they tell me they don't have my almond milk, I just drive off. I won't get it. And so Chick-fil-A, they told me they didn't have chicken. I'm not going to wait. And so we are, we want our stuff. We want it now. Women will buy more if they can feel it, touch it, see it, smell it. And we all know that. That's how we are. But if you don't have the resources, you don't have the resources. And many of us, many of the directors, I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of the scenarios. They'll tell you about their own. I'll even tell you about Jennifer. So we all started from a different place for different reasons, but we all had to get to the same spot, and that was a full store. So it's an investment in your business. What I know about having inventory and the people who have inventory, they work differently. They work from a sense of urgency. They have both feet over the fence instead of one over one on the other side straddling that fence. There are exceptions, okay? There are exceptions. And, you're probably going to hear a couple of those exceptions, like from Marianne and Trinity tonight. When you're a determined person and you want to make this work and your why is bigger, your goal, the reason why you're doing it is bigger than you and your fear and our procrastination and our bad habits, you'll get it done and you'll build that store as you're building your customer base. And so that's what I'm going to give you some tips on that tonight, okay? I'm going to read off my notes just because there's really so much to talk about. I don't want to skip anything. I kind of want to stay on track. But like I said, a determined person can get it done. The growing pains that we're going to talk more about, and I know Trinity will and Marianne will, growing pains when you're growing your store is more frequent or shipping costs. You have got to order more frequently after each product. One thing you do not ever, ever, ever want to do, and that is make your customers wait. Okay. A woman will not wait 2 weeks for her mascara or her foundation. If you're not someone who wears that daily, you have no idea what that's like. There is no way in the world I will wait for that. There's just certain things that you just can't wait for. And so I hope that I instill this in you guys, that we do not make our customers wait, longer than a couple of days. I've actually inherited customers because they told me, my consultant makes me wait 3 months. What? guess what's happening? She's trying to get active, or she orders every 3 months. That's not a consultant. And I tell her, I don't mind taking you and servicing you the proper way, the way that you should. You are going to be a spoiled rotten customer for me, because I'm going to show you how you're supposed to be serviced. That is just a personal use consultant who's bought a membership to a wholesale club. That is not a working consultant. And I don't have a problem taking that customer from her. And so these are just, so when you're having these growing pains of your, growing your store, you're going to have more frequent shipping costs. You're going to make frequent trips back and forth to a customer's house because you had a little bit of a product on your shelf and you got to bring her more. That's just extra time. We're going to talk more about some other things. How I built. I started with a little bit, and I'll tell you, I started in that first 30 days. I started with a little bit, and then had my appointment, had another appointment, by the time I finished that first month, I had already ordered $1,800 because I had sold. Okay, I had sold, and so looking back, I'm like, oh, I should have just started with that. And so, but it was what it is, it is. And those are some of my growing pains of learning the lesson. When I did grow my store, so I started in January of 2001, I left my full-time job June 2nd of 2001, 6 months later. By the time I left my job, I had a full store, and I had a fairly, good sized customer base where I had consistent reorders coming in. I did not take a paycheck until the month I didn't have a regular job. I used all that money and rolled it. Now, if you are someone who has to have a paycheck, and I'll just tell you, I look back now, and what I recommend, even if you don't need the money right now, if you have a job, I do recommend that you do 80-20, just because I like for the husbands to see a little bit of money. Okay. My husband was okay not seeing the money because he saw my store being built, and he saw me consistently holding an appointment every single week. The reason he knew the concept of the business is because he listened to my inventory tape with me. See, Roxanne was in San Antonio, and she sent us a tape to listen to. Now you guys have me. You actually have my video, but Andy listened with me, and he knew, he's like, you know what, just roll it all in. We won't need a paycheck until you quit the mortgage business and you come home. And so that's how I was able to build my stores through that rolling all in. But now I'm a huge fan of that 80-20, because I never know if somebody's husband's paid attention, if he's listening, if he's on board, if he's plugged in. And I always like for him to be her number one fan, supporting her business, all the way, because I've lost a lot of great consultants over the years because the husband wasn't plugged in the beginning. And the first thing they're asking us, where's the money? You're going off and having all this fun, and you're so happy, and, you're coming home and you're giggly and you're all pumped up. Where's the money? And so you'll be able to show them the money when you do that 80-20 split. And if you're consistent, now I was not a big seller, so it did take me a while. You guys, it was almost a year and 3 months before I ever sold a roll-up bag. So I just was not, blowing it out of the water with my sales. And one reason is because I just jumped in with both feet, and I had to, learn the lessons. I had that one, we had a video to watch, and that's all I had. And the meeting that I was going to, and that's why I'm so adamant now about you guys, when you guys come to my house and I do my skincare class, is because if I had someone like me that had taught me the proper way to sell and show products, I would have been selling a lot more early on. And so those are some of the lessons that I had to learn, that I'm making sure that you don't learn those same lessons, that I'm correcting the things, just because I wasn't showing enough product. And we may not have had a lot of product we had the Miracle Set to show, but I'm thinking that's all we showed. But we did have some décolleté cream and stuff like that, but my sales were not that that great in the beginning. So it did take me that full 6 months to build my store. Now with all of our wonderful products, I tell people you can get your full store built in 3 months if you started with some or a little bit or nothing. If you roll it in and you are consistent, okay, you've got to be consistent with fighting for that appointment every single week. That was whenever I have a group that we call ourselves the BYOP group, Build Your Own Paycheck. When I formed that group, we were just going to fight for one appointment a week, fight for a new booking every week, and pay ourselves. We were building that guaranteed paycheck, and we knew our baseline. We knew how much we were averaging per face. We knew how much we were averaging with our reorders. And so you saw that consistency. Next week, I'm actually going to teach that here so everybody can get involved with getting that systems down of where you're fighting every single week, just like I did. And I was able to leave my corporate job just from having that consistency and knowing every single week I was going to hold one appointment. So ways to get inventory. I'm going to give you some more details in just a second about what to put in your store when you're new in your first 3 months, your first 6 months, okay? But the ways to get some inventory, and I know Trinity and Marianne might share a little bit too, but some tax refunds that there have been other directors. I don't know that I've ever had anybody do this, but if you own a car free and clear, if you went and got a small loan on that car, then you have a set payment and you just pay it off with the sale and your profit from your Mary Kay business, and that would give you your inventory. There's now, of course, banks don't give out too many small signature loans anymore where there's not anything attached to it, but there's always those great 0% cards. But what I tell people, if you get a 0% card, you cut it up and you run your business from a positive cash flow. What does that mean from a positive cash flow? It means that your family is not going to pay for your Mary Kay products that you put on your 0% card, even though it's like free money for 0 to 9 months or 0 to 18 months. But your Mary Kay business, from that profit of that 50-50, that 50% of what you sell never ever belongs to you. It belongs to your business. That's your restock money. That's your restock fee. That's what you're going to replace those products that you just took off your shelf. And then the other 50 is your paycheck. From that paycheck, you're going to pay off your credit card. Or you could do it double payments, triple payments, whatever you want to do. Now, that is still a paycheck. I had a woman that was in my unit for many, many years, and she owned a business. And one day she said, well, I haven't been paying myself. I'm like, well, I knew what you sold every week for 3 years. You're my number one in sales. I knew what you ordered. Where was the money going? She goes, oh, well, I was making my husband's new truck payment and insurance payment. I said, well, that's your paycheck. I can't help what you do with your money. It's just like telling your husband, your job's not paying you anything, because after the mortgage, after the utilities, after the car payment, you're not bringing home any money. You're not making, well, you are. You've got responsibilities. And so that when you have that money on the card, you cut it up so you don't use it, and you run your money from that positive cash flow, and you let your Mary Kay paycheck pay that credit card off. And then by the time the tax season comes around, should be still 0% money, okay? And then you have your tax refund. And this is what I teach all my new consultants, is that when you're sitting in front of your accountant and after your first tax season as a new business, a new homeowner business, a business person who runs a business from home, you get the Schedule C, all the deductions. You ask your accountant, what would it be with my business, and what is it if I didn't have a business? And you look at that big difference. Take that money, you tell your husband he's not buying a boat this year, and you pay off your Mary Kay inventory. Boom. Know your number. Linda Tubin, National Sales Director, taught me that. Know your number. So that's your number. What is that? What this is what your refund would have been without your business. This is what it is now. Boom. Now you have the money to pay off your Mary Kay business. It's business. You're not buying shoes. It's business. Okay. So now what about having it? Okay. So when you have it, I'll tell you from an emotional point, not having it, I would get a knot in my stomach. And I would talk somebody out of a lipstick. I would talk somebody out of a product because I knew I didn't bring it with me, or I knew I didn't have it at home. It's an emotional thing. But when I have it, it's such an exciting feeling. It's like, oh, I look professional. I have it. She's going to go home with it. She's happy. I'm happy. All right. The knot, but once again, that was my growing pain. That was my growing pain. So I had a sense of urgency to grow my store as fast as I could so that I always look professional, especially when you get around that circle, when you have booked out of your circle of friends and family, and you are now in front of a stranger. You're buying, she's buying, you're selling, and you want to give her the product because she doesn't know you from Adam. Okay, so here's how I grew my stock as I grew my customers. All right, here we go. My closing sheet. Okay, my closing sheet matches my stock. You can control what you sell, so you can control what you stock on your shelf. I do not have every product. I'm going to say it again. I do not have every product. I totally control my new face sales. Okay. That's why when I go to a party and I put together an inventory package for a new consultant and I'm going to do her product launch, and she may have started with a 6, a 12, or 18, but not a full store. That's why I lose it when they get out a book and I'm like, don't get the book out. I don't have any control when the book's out, but I have control for you when the closing sheet is there. And I designed your inventory around that closing sheet. So no matter what you get, you've got it. You've got everything you need, but you get that book out, we've lost all control. So now you've caused more work for yourself. You now have to you lost more money because you have to order quicker than you would before your next party, and then you've got to run this to her house. So don't ever get the book out, ever. Okay, I do PCP, and my customers get the books when the company mails it to them. And when there are new products or limited edition products, I go and I stock a few of those. And then when I know that I'm booking my test panels with my customers, get back in front of them, show them the new products, I don't just show them that one product. I figure out what they're not on. And you guys have heard me say, I don't go to your house unless I'm going to sell you $150 because I make $75 an hour. So whatever the new product is that I'm going to her for, I've got that, and I've gone through and I figured out I already know what she's not on, and I'm going to get her on that. And so that is how you control what your store looks like. Okay. So it's out of my control when you get a book out in your party, when I've already provided, I've helped you with your inventory, and it's from our closing sheet. So our closing sheet, I want to talk just a little bit about our closing sheet. So our closing sheet has the skincare sets, Volume Firm, Miracle Set, Clear Proof, Botanicals, and the Naturally line. Okay. And then it has your supplements, and you guys know those are the supplements. I do not show older supplements. I don't stock older supplements. They are there for those women who have been using Mary Kay since the beginning of time, and they will not change. I can name several products that I do not stock. If I do stock an older product, it's because I have customers that use them. I'm going to name them. Extra Moyet Night Cream. I have customers that use them. That's the only reason I stock them. I do not show that. I stock Oil-Free Intense Moisture Cream. I don't show that, but I have customers that use it and order it, and I stock it. Intense Moisture Cream. I don't show it, but I have to stock that. Those are really the only old products that I stock. I don't stock Intense Indulge Soothing Eye Gel. Don't stock that anymore. You know why? We have a better product for puffy eyes. It's called the Hydro Gel Patches, and it's a $40 product, and it does more things, and it's newer ingredients. It's newer technology, newer research. The Indulge Soothing Eye Mask is a $15 product. Stop showing it. The hydrogel patches. You have to follow Mary Kay's lead because you are an independent beauty consultant that has a billion-dollar company backing you, that is putting millions and millions of dollars in research and development. Stop showing the old products, okay? The supplements that I show them because they show instant gratification. They show instant results. And that's why I sell so much. So during our BYOP group, as everybody would give me their results every week, I was noticing red flags. Like, okay, well, you've got these new faces, but you're averaging only 25 to 50 a face. What are you showing? And when I started dissecting into that, they weren't showing what I've been telling you guys to show and what matches our closing sheet. They veered off the beaten path. I am a micromanager, but I'm a micromanager because I've been in the field longer than anybody I've ever known and done more faces than anybody I ever known. And nobody sells the products that I sell. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Now, if you're averaging $250 to $300 a face, we can talk if you're not showing what I'm showing. But those are some tips. See, what I'm trying to do is take the stress off you as you're thinking about having your store in your office and you're looking through the lookbook and you're thinking, oh, that it stresses me out thinking about it. You don't need all that. Follow your closing sheet, okay? Now you know the supplements, the skincare sets, okay? And how many do you stock? Well, that depends on how many faces you're going to see, how many parties you're going to have, and then once your reorder business kicks in, okay? We can talk about that in a second, but I want you to know that with the Clearproof line, I usually stock about 3 to 4 sets. The Voluform kit, y'all, I just sold 4 Voluform kits in 7 days, 4 kits. Those are $205 a pop. And I know I've got another one coming in. Those are reorders. I know when they're coming in. So the longer you're in this business, you start to know who's ready to order. You start to see your pattern. No matter how big, the business gets easier. It's like, somebody, they always say when you go from college football to pro football, it's a fast game. It's a much faster game. But after you've been through the NFL for 1 year, the game slows down. When you've been in Mary Kay a year, 2 years, 3 years, it slows down. And you're able to say, oh, it's time for me to make sure I have 5 Voluforms on my shelf this month. Do I always keep 5? No, because there's certain run on certain products that I know I've got to have a more abundance of. And then, like, I knew I was about to get a run on Voluform kits, and I had them ready, okay? So that is going to come with time as you're in the field, okay? So let me, hold on, I kind of got ahead of my notes. So it's out of my control when you get a book out, and you have to make the hardest thing to build is foundation. Let's talk about that. So over the last 19 years, we've changed our foundation 4 times. Our main liquid full coverage foundation, we've changed it 4 times. So 4 times in my Mary Kay career, I've had to figure out how to get rid of old foundation and know what foundation to stock. And I'm going to tell you, I love this new foundation. But this numbering system is the most complicated for me. But I will tell you that never before has our conversion chart been spot on, okay? I only have one foundation return because it was the wrong color. Is that not crazy? So as I'm building and trying to build this new foundation, here's what I did. Mary Kay gave us, and if you don't have this, I can send this to you. Mary Kay gave us a sheet that showed us the 80% of the most popular shades. Okay, they did our work for us. They went through what we ordered before with the old foundation, and they gave us the most popular shades. I went through and I ordered one or two of each of those in matte, not luminous, matte. That's my demos. Pulled one out. That was my demos. Why do we demo with matte? Saves money when you're at a class and you've done all your skincare and your supplements. A dry skin person is very hydrated. She's going to be okay if you demo a matte foundation on her. But if you're at the skincare class and you hydrated everybody and you put a luminous, which is for normal to dry skin, on an oily skin person, she's going to be dripping with oil before she leaves. She's not going to buy your skincare. She's not going to buy your foundation. Okay, so when you're building your demo for the full coverage, you want to demo matte. Okay, and then I went and got the same colors for the luminous. And then as my customers started ordering and I started matching them, I would order 2 and 3 at a time. Okay, 2 and 3 at a time. And so now I have about 10 different shades of luminous and a little bit more of the matte. And I know this because I helped Crystal out the other day. She was trying to match somebody that was getting some portraits made the next day, and it was a Friday night, and she wanted to bring her over to for me to match her. I'm like, I'm already in my pajamas, but I'll put all my luminous out on the, she can match her with her demos, but she wanted to have the product for her to go. And I was like, here, take these and then bring them back. So that's how I built it. Okay. CC cream. CC cream is easy. There's only 5 and they're very sheer. That's easy. We demo those are in your starter kit. So you already have those demos. So you're going to go through and you're going to do very light. It's going to be a little bit more popular in the winter, and light to medium and medium to deep are very, very popular as they start getting darker. Light to medium is my most popular shade. Okay. Now, we talked about foundation being the hardest. The cream to powder foundation. I inherited all those customers. I don't show it, but I inherited those. That is our old foundation, and women still come looking for it. And just so you know, they buy 2 to 3 at a time. So when you get an order, you can say, I will get it for you. We'll find it, and then you make sure you stock 2 or 3 for that person, and you build on that. Mineral powder. Mineral powders are very, very popular too. And I always, hold on, I'm skipping over dang it, I hate that, skipping over my notes. And this is getting a little longer than I thought, but I wanted you guys to have all the details. Order your demos, Matt, ticket. Sales tickets. Oh, and I pull my sales tickets every 2 to 4 months, and I go through. This goes back to my full coverage. I go through and I pull to make sure that I have a list. I use my order form, and I make sure that I have those on my shelf to get ready, because I know they're going to reorder in 3 to 4 months. So 2 to 4 months, I go back through. I just did that and restocked on all my foundations. Okay, CC creams are easy. Mineral powders. You want to, mineral powders are going to be Ivory 1, Ivory 2, Beige 1, Beige 2, Bronze 1, Bronze 2. I do not do 0.5s. 0.5s has a very, very high pink undertone. It's more for different demographics, not demographics, it's for Hispanics and Asians. I'm not going to try to be politically correct. They have a pink undertone. And I don't have a lot of customers Asian descent or Hispanic, and so I don't have any of those colors. So that's what the 0.5s are for. And so you stick to 1-2s, and then 0.5s if you have those. That's great. But you're always going to need to show your mineral powder brush, your blending brush, and your liquid foundation brush. Everybody I've ever showed those brushes to, they buy them. That's increasing your ticket with that sale. make sure you demo. So make sure you demo the blending brush and the mineral powder and the liquid foundation brushes. So you've got to order those to have on your shelves and have some demos. If you're only going to have 2 of each of those brushes as demos, you have to have a brush cleaner. Our brush cleaner is $10. When you're at your party, you've got to sanitize. You can spray it, wipe it off on a paper towel, and then you can pass it on to the next person. I like to have 4, but when you're starting to build, 2 will be fine, maybe even 1, but make sure you have that brush cleaner, okay? By your 3rd month, we talked about this, you want to be in full inventory because you have booked outside of your family and friends, and now you are servicing strangers, and if a stranger gives you money, you need to give her products. The Glamour stock, okay, I'm going to quickly say this. Glamour stock, how do I know what to stock with Glamour? This is really easy. I mean, believe it or not, this is the easiest to stock. Of course, you've got all your supplements that we show from the closing sheet, your skincare sets. I do one full men's set because I actually have 2 men customers that order. So I keep one, and then they don't order at the same time, and so I can rotate out. And then I do about 4 or 5 clear proof, and then I do the botanical and 1 naturally line, okay, because I actually have somebody on the naturally line, so I do one of those, and I've got a few people on the botanicals, and so that's all I have. The rest is full Voluform and full Miracle set, okay. The 3-in-1 bar, I do have to stock a lot of that. I have several people that use that, and my sons use that. They didn't want to have all the different packaging in the Navy, but they can have a bar, and it's a 3-in-1 bar. So now, let's talk about your Glamour stock. How do you know what to? So we talked a little bit about foundation. Glamour stock, you stock it based on what your Glamour demo bag has, and we talked about that last week. So that's going to be your brow tint, your under eye correctors, your concealers, your mascaras, your eye makeup removers, finishing spray, foundation primers, eye primers, lash primers, all your primers, and all that's in your Glamour bag. You've got to have all those things. You show those at that second appointment, that increases that sale, gets it up to $150, and you've got it all. Lipsticks, I go through and I picked out the most popular, and that's what I show. And lip glosses, I have every lip gloss because they are all beautiful, okay? And I sell a lot of those. Eyeliners, there's deep brown, black, and steely. I have all of those because I have customers that wear all of those. And then lip liners, it's mainly medium to nude and dark chocolate. Those are the 2 that I sell. I don't, and I have a customer that eats berry liner. Literally, she buys 3 at a time. She eats them. And so I do the berry liner now. I keep 3 for her, and I have 2 customers that are on the dark chocolate because they're still in the 80s where they've got the dark chocolate and the frosted lipstick. One of them's my sister. Anyway, so those are the things like in my Glamour. But the main thing that I do for Glamour, and I always have my nude shades that would go in a nude palette. Biscotti, your, oh gosh, I can't think. Biscotti, and can't think of the other one, the other light shade, hazelnut. Those are all your nude and earth tones. I keep those. But when the company comes out with the new lookbook, which the spring lookbook is out, I go through and I see what the models are wearing, and I put 2 of each of those on there because I'm always going to have a customer that is trendy, and that's what she wants to wear. And so that's how I do my colors. So I follow the lookbook and I order based on what's in that lookbook and then what my normal customers wear for their everyday look. And then so my best customers order for 6 to 8 times a year. Most of my other customers order 3 to 5 times a year. And the bigger your customer base, the bigger your reorders. And so, like I said, the business gets easier the longer you've been in it. Now, I'm going to let Marianne and Trinity talk. I'm so sorry. I hope you guys will stay on just for a few more minutes because they want to share a little bit about some of their experiences, okay?
Go ahead, Marianne. You're good. Okay. I'll go first. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. The weather changing has been crazy. So I just had a little analogy with Chick-fil-A that I was told recently that I really enjoyed. So I want you to envision that you're going to Chick-fil-A, kind of like Michelle said, because I love Chick-fil-A. I'm there all the time. And you go to the drive-thru and you pull up to the drive-thru and you order, because the nice little lady comes to you and you order the window there, and then you go around and you pay the nice gentleman at the kiosk or whatever, and then you pull up to the next window and they say, okay, thank you so much for your order, here's your ticket, come back in 2 weeks and we'll have it ready for you. You're like, no, I want my Chick-fil-A now. And so it's such a visual thing for your skincare and your makeup with your customers. They're so pumped, they're at a party, they're so excited, and they want to take it home right then. And a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you're going to sell so much more, almost double in my opinion, than if you have it with you than if you don't. So that's the biggest thing. My first year in Mary Kay, I started off with a small store, and I spent $500, just over $500 in shipping cost, because I didn't really understand the importance until that tax time when I sat down and I was like, oh, I literally ordered 3 orders in 1 week. Like, I've got to save money on shipping. It's crazy. So it is so important to go ahead and invest in your inventory. I think about it now, I place 1, maybe 2 orders a month. That shipping is costing me $120 if it's $10 an order. You know what I mean? So compared to that $500 I was spending, it was ridiculous. Plus, I'm saving so much time on delivery. That's my biggest thing. Now that I have my daughter and I'm about to have another baby, I have to be really, really conscious of my time. So if I'm having a party and I have all the products there with me, I'm not having to go and deliver these products, get with these people later. I'm done. At a party, it's over. I've sold the products. I am done. See you later. Here you go. Go get started. And they're already starting to wash it down the sink. So then they're needing to reorder sooner than if I have to wait to order and then go deliver. So it's such a nice feeling whenever you leave the party and you're like, wow, I just made all that money. I don't even have to think about it anymore. I've got to organize my customer list and everything, but I don't have to deliver anymore. And if you have those products with you, you can upsell. Like Michelle was saying with the cosmetics, the color cosmetics are really fun because women are such visual. They're such impulse buyers. They love to see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, all of that. And so whenever you have those color products with you, I like to keep them with me at my little checkout station. And so I've got their total. I've got everything written up. I'm like, oh, I meant to tell you. After they've ordered all their skincare, everything they want, I have over here some lipsticks and eyeshadows. Did you want to see them really quick? And then they're like, oh, yes, I do. Who's going to say no to that? And so they're going to just kind of file through, well, I want this one and this one and this one. You know what I mean? So it's just a fun little upsell that is such a impulse buy that, you know, they weren't really planning on getting, but now they are. And so it's so important to be able to say, oh, yeah, you can take that one with you. That's yours. Or let me get your goodies from the car. It's such a fun thing to be able to have that experience, because a lot of times at, like, you know, other parties, Pampered Chef and 31, they don't get that experience. And so they need that with this skincare and cosmetics. It's so, so important. And just like Michelle said, if you don't have it, sometimes they're going somewhere else. A national, I don't remember who it was. My memory's awful. She said recently, if you can't beat Amazon, you will soon be obsolete. Marianne, did you tell us that a national said that? I can't remember who told me, but a national said, if you can't beat Amazon, you're going to soon be obsolete. And I was like, wow, because Amazon has free 2-day shipping. We have to be able to beat that. Otherwise, we're in trouble. And so if you can give it to them right then, right there, even if there's one thing that you have to, you know, get or secure, you left at your house, you still have most of their order with you. It is such a huge thing. I literally had a customer send me a picture this weekend of her shower. she had the product that she was out of, her cleanser. She had cut the tube because women are procrastinators. She had cut the tube and sent me a picture, and she said, I think I need more of this like yesterday.
Oh my
And
God.
if I didn't have it, she would have to wait 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And so, well, obviously our shipping is not that long, but you get what I'm saying. By the time I got it to her and everything. So she knew the fact that I had it in stock. She knew she didn't have to stress because I would get it to her as soon as possible. But it's such an important thing to be able to have that customer service in this world that we live in today. So there you go, Marianne.
Yeah. And just to tag on to that last part, because I was thinking, our company is so unique. It's not like any others because we have an on-demand product. And so if a company has a high demand product that people are just, going after left and right, they usually have to wait, to order it online and wait for it to ship, or they have to drive, when they're not working, they have to spend their extra time to drive to a mall that probably isn't very close. And so we have that extra edge where we can deliver it to them if they live close enough, or if they have a makeup emergency, they can just like swing by our house really quick. And we also do have the shipping so we have more options than other companies. There's other direct sales companies that they don't let their people keep product on their shelf. They don't even have the option of delivering right away or giving to them right away after they sit down with them. They have to wait on it to be ordered. And so they would just love to be able to deliver products instantly because they know that, people would buy more. And so with Mary Kay, it's a privilege to be able to have product on hand. And so that's why the company with a new consultant, they're like throwing new free product at new consultants, is because they know the importance of a consultant and the power of them having that free product in their hands to be able to deliver like a professional businesswoman. Just to tell my story, since Michelle and Trinity did, I think I started, I can't remember if it was 600 or 1800. Michelle probably remembers. But again, those of you who know, I didn't start this business to actually have a business. But we knew, we were going through the checklist and we figured we might as well take advantage of the free stuff. So we did one of those packages. And then my husband, he is very business minded, very numbers minded. He gets this whole thing. He saw the value in getting inventory before I did. And so even though I wasn't doing appointments consistently at all my first 6 months, because we're just doing it for fun, whatever I was selling I was rolling it over into my inventory. And plus, since we had our 2 different salaries, I was probably taking some of my extra salary from a teacher and sticking it in there so we could meet my star levels, because my husband's a checklist guy, so like there's something to be earned, so he would help me get there. And then plus I had a mother-in-law who had some had come into a bit of some income, and she would buy lots of Mary Kay. She helped me to be a diamond star my first quarter.
I forgot about that.
And so I actually really unintentionally built my store full, but there were times where, because I wasn't intentional about it, didn't have great money management skills personally, so that flowed over into my business, and I didn't even realize that was a problem until I wasn't restocking consistently, and I was running low on products. And so when I'm like going to reach for a miracle set, and I'm like, oh wait, what? I don't have a full miracle set? What the crap? And so I knew there was a problem. And so that bad habit, sometimes until you change the behaviors, my mentality shifted from moments where I knew I had way less product than I should have had to serve my customers and for the level I was at in my company, from how people perceived me as a consultant. And so you had that mentality of like, I feel like a fraud because I don't have what I say or what people think I have. And so that mentality at first was really hard, because it was like, I can't do this. This is really, really hard. But I was smart enough to know it wasn't the company's fault. It was not Mary Kay's fault. It was mine. It was my poor management and business skills that I had not developed properly like I should have. And then, but somehow there was some sort of grit inside of me that I didn't know was there, that was willing not to quit and just to keep going and dig myself out of that. And then I grew, my mind grew more than my habits did. And so when I did that, made those mistakes again, at least I was smart enough to go, well, if I just like do a bunch of appointments this week, I just get a bunch more sales, and I just like restock it again, and it's no big deal. And so at least then I had the can do attitude that shifted from the can't do and everything. So I've learned, and, you know, we personally have, you know, learned about our finances, which has helped the business so much better. And I'm passionate about helping other people. So just want to tell you, you know, like nobody's perfect, and don't ever feel bad or feel like you got to quit if you make a mistake, but it's amazing. I absolutely love having the product to be able to deliver.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. So yeah, so I actually made it all the way to sales director and not knowing how to run my money right. My story is exactly like Mary Ann's. And I told Andy one day, I said, take the boys, go play somewhere. I've got to figure this money out. I cannot be a sales director and not know how to run my money and do my inventory right. Because I did the same thing. And because we don't all come in knowing how to run a business. And so we learn the lesson, and Mary Ann's right. You make bad mistakes, but if you go have a couple of great weeks, hey, you got your full inventory again. We call that embezzling Edith, and we were all her, right? All right, so we're almost finished, so hang on, y'all. Don't hang up because I got two important things to say. So I want to ask a question that somebody just texted me about old supplements. What are the old supplements? I'll list them later, but what I want to say is that, for example, Intense Moisture Cream, oil-free hydrating gel. Those are, they call them water in a jar. So really dry, dehydrated skin during the winter. If you have a customer that gets that dry, you have to lead her to the right products, and you can't be afraid to do it. Because if somebody needs Intense Moisture Cream, they probably need a Voluform set. And it's time that you have that talk with them and that you sit down and let them try that product. That just happened to me. Okay, so that's what I mean by some of the supplements are old, and that you need to look at why they're wanting them and direct them into the right place. Lead the sale, lead the customer. That is your job. You are the professional, and be okay with that. Own that, okay? What you say, they will trust you. You lead them. They're not going to lead you. And the second thing is, I know we were talking about having on-demand delivery, and we mentioned Amazon. I don't want any of you new people to think that Amazon is our competition for Mary Kay products. There are scammers who have some Mary Kay on Amazon. But here is what I will tell you, because we that's been to seminar, we know that the company has a whole department shutting them down, and they literally file independent multi-million-dollar lawsuits. We have an amazing legal team, and they're all getting trademark violation lawsuits against these individuals. Sometimes they're mom and pops, but when you have a customer that questions why they would buy from you versus Amazon, oh, I wish I had a product right here. One reason. Anybody can open this up and put anything in here, and that could be some pretty gross stuff. Our products are not sealed. And we think as most of it is water for some of this, and some of it, there's a lot of perverts out there. And so if you've been to one of my classes, I've had to address that. Like, there's no way. When you buy from Mary Kay, there's no seal, because your customer knows you. That relationship is being built. And so I don't want you to think that Amazon is your competition. 19 years, it's never been my competition. And Mary Kay, the billion-dollar company I talked about, they've got your back, and they have a whole department dedicated just to that issue. And so it's not a problem. But on-demand delivery is something we will do, and with genuine Mary Kay products. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have a better idea of what to build, what to stock, and the method behind our madness. If you have any questions, you can text us, call us. We'll be glad to help you. And thank you for staying on past our normal time. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. So, good night, everybody. Good night.